Let's take a look at what we have on the front page of the People Daily. Let me start with that on the front page of the local dailies. Again, good morning. Why key hospitals are sick? Why key hospitals are sick? This is what we have on the front page of the People Daily. Why key hospitals are sick. There is that story of delay in release of cash from National Health Insurer makes it impossible for facilities to pay bills and sending them to deathbeds. This is according to People Daily. CS points fingers at National Treasury for the delay in the disbursements of funds to and money to the hospitals. It says why key hospitals are sick. That story is what's fleshed there for you on the front page of the People Daily. It also continues, meet Kenyan who cooks for Manchester United. Yes. Meet Kenyan who cooks for Manchester United. This is interesting. You can take a look at that story. It's quite interesting. Kenyans making it big. We have got Kenya, and the victor is, the winner is, we have got Darius Van Driel, who is now the magical Kenya Open Trophy winner after emerging this year's winner by a score of 14 under par at the 71 Muthaiga Golf Club. It was a very busy weekend, by the way, at that golf course. It was busy. This gentleman has pocketed 61.8 million shillings. 61.8 million shillings. That is the money that he's won. But for you to get that money, you have to work for it. So the top page is why key hospitals are sick, because according to the CS there is that delay, and he's pointing fingers at the National Treasury. The story continues there. TSC wants college entry grades for tutors raised. This is what it is on the second page here of the People Daily. There is that story of employers saying that Kenyan teaching graduates should be competent enough to work locally and abroad. And now there are a raft of proposals, and the TSC say that they're seeking to review academic qualifications for people who wish to join the teaching service. And it says that TSC Secretary, that is Nancy Macharia, has said that the commission is the single largest employer in the region, so its impact on the education sector cannot be underrated. And as it is right now, the Commission also wants those taking a diploma course to have a minimum of C- in English and at least D plain in mathematics as part of efforts to address numeracy and literacy challenges that you have. Numeracy, that is mathematics-wise, and literacy, the other bit of it. And it now calls for sober debate. And the teaching, they say that they need to export more. Teacher export. TLC is also advising the national government on standards of education and training of persons entering the teaching service, and maintains the teacher registrar, and again it also issues and cancels certificates of registration in accordance with regulations. This is what we have here. So we have got TSC Secretary, that is Nancy Macharia, Legal, Labour and Industrial Relations Director Kevin Anyor. That is what is happening. 3 pupils killed in bus accident after Nyeri Scouts event. That is a sad story there. It happened where 3 pupils died while several others sustained serious injuries when they were involved in a road accident on the Gitugi Muranga Road on Saturday evening. Grace and prayer to the affected families. Now, the story here of meet Kenyan who cooks for Manchester United. Milton Isalano has been team's senior chef since 2005 when Alex Ferguson was the coach. This is what we have here. Globally, Kenyans are making great strides. You can take a look at that story. He's been there since the reigns of Sir Alex Ferguson. Isalano disclosed that he has been working at the Manchester United as a senior chef since 2005, which dates back to when Sir Alex Ferguson was the head coach at the club. And the senior chef at Manchester United also disclosed that besides the job at the club, he has held other high-profile jobs, citing an example in 2014 when he was the head chef of VIP Escape Lounges, that is Manchester Airport in Terminals 1, 2, and 3. Yes, Isalano. This is interesting. Vivian, imagine cooking for Manchester, the likes of Harry Maguire. The Harry Maguire, I will excuse you for that. Are you a Manchester United fan? Migui?
Migui has no team, actually.
He has no team? Hello.
Yeah, at least I am a Manchester United fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know Harry Maguire?
I know Maguire. Maguire with the ball. Maguire.
That's the way you are saying it. Harry
Maguire.
Harry Maguire. That came from one of the legislators in Uganda. You can have that Ugandan accent, having a Harry Maguire being a Manchester United player. But coming home, I mean, being a chef at one of the world's top football club, this is something to celebrate about, right?
It's really something to be celebrated. You know, Kenyans are all over. You know, Kenyans are really hardworking people. We have to give that to the people of this nation. We are really hardworking, and we're always ready to find opportunities. You know, we're always up to find the new challenge, to find opportunities everywhere. And it's so good. I didn't know that there was a Kenyan cooking for, you know, the Manchester United team, and it's really good to know that we have a Kenyan over there who's
I mean, you
sorting
can go anywhere and you'll pick a Kenyan randomly in in any country in the world.
Yeah.
I think we also have that spirit of keep trying.
Yes.
Until we have that spirit of keep trying, and it's where success is. Sure, you will find
there's a Kenyan there.
Yes. There's a Kenyan there.
Should we say that if you can survive in Kenya, then you can survive anywhere else? That is not to say that we have...
Do you know how that came about? That if you can survive in Kenya, you can survive anywhere. One, hujafungiwa nyumba na landlord for 3 years.
Yes.
Kanjako na wewe hapo. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Hujapigwa jack na kanjo kidogo. Kingeta kidogo, if you know what I'm saying.
Utembeta vibaya hivi kidogo, simu imebebwa.
You have to maneuver along the streets, you know, the city streets and all that.
Yes.
And you survive on rice for 3 days in your house. And you survive with 100 bob in your pocket.
Yeah.
For 3 days. You can survive anywhere.
You can survive anywhere. Once you survive, you can survive in Kenya, then you're good to go anywhere else.
So surviving in Kenya is the SI unit.
What does that say about our country? It's so wrong for us to say.
It's the SI unit, okay.
But all in all,
industrious people though.
Yeah, all in all, we are very focused on achieving whatever we set our eyes on. I think that's the spirit that works for most of us. Yes.
I like that. Okay. This is the story making front page. Before I toss it over to you, Mike Migui. Hospitals risk closure over NHIF failure to release funds on time. This is what's here. It's on the splash of the People Daily. The story says that it's so bad the situation is as most health facilities are now scaling down while others are suffering in silence lest auctioneers go for them. That is what is here on the splash of the People Daily. And it says that Rural Private Hospitals Association of Kenya are now complaining that they are worst affected. And now the CS actually said that this is because of the delay of funds from the National Treasury. NHIF has also apportioned the blame of the National Treasury, which it accuses of delaying in disbursing them funds. So how is it going to be? And remember, the CES said that there's that amendment that is going to be happening so very soon. People are going to start paying 300 shillings as SHIF very soon. So that is on the front page of the People Daily and the inner page of what is making the splash on the front page. Mike Migui.
Yes. On the front page of the Daily Nation, they're saying best, worst counties to do business with. The story is going that Kiambu, Nairobi, Narok, Kajiado are among rich counties allocating the least cash to pay huge debts owed to distressed suppliers. By April 17, 2023, counties had settled 24 billion out of 49 billion pending bills, and this is according to the Controller of Budgets. There's a tabulation on the front page there that is showing the worst paying counties and the best paying counties. The best paying counties here include Nyeri, Siaya, Mandera, Muranga, and Lamu, which here they are saying this payment status is 100% and Lamu has 99%. As in Kiambu County here, the tabulation is indicating that there is a 4% payment status of pending bills, then and the highest in this tabulation here goes up to 39%. That story is fleshed out on page 4 of the Daily Nation. Counties accumulated 108.5 billion ineligible bills. These bills include those who are not fully supported by the required documentation and instances where goods and services were either partially delivered or not delivered entirely. And it's also indicating that a report by the Comptroller of Budget shows that, as I have indicated, they have paid 23.9 billion or 49.78%. And suppliers actually have lamented out of this and are hounded by creditors. Some have had their assets auctioned due to defaulted repayments, with many plunging into depression. In extreme cases, a few have died by suicide. That is a story you will find on page 4 of the Daily Nation. There's also another story about Raila succession. Raila succession splits his family amid tug of war. Opposition leaders, Azimio leader Raila Odinga's bid for the chairmanship of African Union Commission has sparked an intense debate amongst his lieutenant to take over his mantle as the doyen of Luo Nyanza politics. Victor, this story has a political intonation and ramification to it. What do you think? I think you've had this discussion here over and over again, and one of the questions that come out is how Azimio is going to, the direction that it is going to take should Raila clinch this seat. What do you think?
Well, based on the discussions we've had here with my panelists on site for quite some time, I mean, politics. And for them, they say that Raila is quite, he's suitable to have that position, the continental assignment, to lead the AU. But then look at it this way. What does it have on the Kenyan politics? We now have, actually people will now agree that locally, Raila has a very huge role to play in the political arena. But the question you've asked, so what does it really mean to ODM? The number of guests that we've hosted here before say that they're okay. Last week, they said that ODM is still going to stay. That's what we had here by Member of Parliament, that is Rafael Wanjala, who said that ODM is still going to remain intact even with Raila's exit to the continental assignment. But then, what does this really mean to those people who depend on Raila for their campaigns? Because let's face it, there are people who are in power courtesy of President William Ruto and courtesy of Raila Odinga, or courtesy of any other notable figure, politically speaking. So I believe that ODM or Azimio in general, they are going to put their house in order. They know, politicians are aware of that move. And the question is, what makes you think that Raila doesn't know that his exit either is going to affect Azimio or bring it closer, ODM, negatively or positively? Perhaps if you ask me, that would give other leaders in that outfit enough space and time to also grow politically speaking. We have young leaders there, the likes of Senator Sifuna, Babu Wino, many of them who also need that space to grow politically. So if I were any of them, I would actually take this chance and run with it. But that time is too short. Remember, even if you are still going to inherit your father's property, make sure that you tread carefully. Make sure that you tread carefully. And I know politicians know this game.
And if I may add on to that, we're talking about the succession of Azimio, particularly, the party. But now there's also the question on the succession of the kingpin, that is the Nyanza kingpin. And on the Star, actually on page 6, they are talking about who is going to succeed Raila as the kingpin of Nyanza, the entire region. And we've seen something that we normally don't see, you know, when we have a member of the influential family, that is the Jaramogi family, coming forth to pick someone who is to succeed Raila as the kingpin of Nyanza, and that is none other than Ida Odinga, the wife to Honorable Raila Odinga. Now, Ida has come out to mention and endorse nominated MP, that is John Mbadi. So according to Ida, the seasonal lawmaker is fit enough to succeed Raila Odinga as the kingpin of Nyanza.
Yes.
I don't know about this. I don't know what is going to come out of this, and the fact that it is Ida who's actually endorsing Mbadi. I really want to see how that is going to play out, how that succession is also going to play out, matters kingpin, Nyanza kingpin, just to see how, you know, who else is going to be endorsed in this particular one. Who else do you think, maybe Victor, could take on Nyanza, the entire region of Nyanza as the kingpin after? Yes. Please note, after Raila Odinga, who has been the kingpin for years, and not just a strong kingpin, actually. Yeah.
Who do I think should be? Okay, let's answer that when we come after this break.
Yes. All right.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Director, we do a lot behind the scenes. So you asked about Raila's succession, please, his family amid the tug of war. So the story continues here. That's on page 7 of the stand of the Daily Nation.
Daily Nation,
Opposition leader's wife and elder brother are rooting for different candidates to take over the mantle, his mantle as the doyen of Luo Nyanza politics. This is what it is. And it's now there's a lot of conversation going out there that the tug of war has even dropped in members of his family who appear divided on who should succeed him in the Luo Nyanza politics supremo. On Friday last week, Mr. Odinga's wife, that is Ida, who was also speaking in Homa Bay County, rooted for Orange Democratic Movement National Chairman John Mbadi as the best replacement to succeed her husband. What do you think, Vivian?
I mean, I had just, you know, before we took that break, that's what we were talking about. And I feel like there are many names that, you know, normally pop up or have been popping up when it comes to the succession of the Nyanza, you know, the succession of Raila as the kingpin. You know, the names of such as Kisumu Governor, we have Anyang, his counterparts. We have the likes of, you know, people like Obado. We have, there are so many when it comes to the succession of Raila Odinga matters, taking over Nyanza province. And I don't know who's really eligible, and is it proper to endorse someone? Yeah. Was Raila endorsed by anyone? I think he just popped up. Was he?
Position and the issue of kingpin and who should be taking over, I think you must have that charisma and that support from the public, from the ground. Let me say that. People must come and rally behind you. Yes. All right. And talk of that, John Mbadi's name has been flouted. Yeah. We also have the likes of, you've called some other names. We have got John Mbadi or Dr. Buru Dinga. Other names, other possible successors include Embakasi East, Member of Parliament, that is Babu Wino. Yes. Mr. Dinga's daughter, that is Winnie, for former member, Cabinet Secretary, that is Raphael Tuju, Governors Gladys Wanga of Homa Bay, Ochila Yako of Migori, James Orengo of Siaya, and you've correctly put it, Anyang' Nyong'o of Kisumu.
Yeah.
We also have these people. The list also includes politicians allied to President William Ruto, such as former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero, that is Eliud Owalo, etc., etc. Also including Raymond Omolo, who is the PS for Interior. So the list is long.
It is long.
The list is long.
I think it's just a matter of time for us to see how that is going to pan out.
Yes.
And the fact that Raila is silent about this.
The fact that he's silent about it.
Yes. I'm like, what is he thinking? And then why are we in a hurry to succeed him?
What do you have on the front page of the Star? I like that question.
Yeah, why are we in a hurry to succeed him? All right, let's get back to the front page of the Star. And the front page of the Star, the big headline there is civil servants deep in debt. Audit has revealed that. Now, that story is on page 4, and actually, according to the Star, the long-suffering, please underline, long-suffering civil servants are facing major financial distress as a result of the economic downturn, with a sizable band penniless on payday. You know, the audit points out cases in 15 state departments, including the National Treasury, where more than 5,400 employees took home less than a third of their net pay. Less than a third of their net pay. You know, it is a requirement rather of the Employment Act 2012 and Public Service Commission Human Resource Policies 2016 that employees take home at least a third of their salaries. You know, and as it is right now, we're having 5,400 employees who are taking home less than a third of their salary. You know, things are not good. If we may just be honest, things are really not good. Matters the economy of the country, and yeah, as we can see now, it's time to downsize. Most people are downsizing, and we just hope that things are going to turn out well or better.
And you know, out of that number, there's that the pay is not the same. So there are job groups, so meaning the pay is not the same. So if you're talking about taking home a third, and given the kind of statutory deductions that are there, of course, it's going to take a toll on the person, and this is a very serious issue given the current economic times that we are living in.
True.
Yes.
Yes, and still on the front page of the Star, we have athlete Kipsang mourned after racetrack death. You know, Kenyan runner Charles Kipkorir Kipsang collapsed and died during a race in Cameroon on Saturday. The Athletics Kenya has just confirmed that, or rather confirmed that, and the local governing body said it was in communication with the Cameroonian authorities. Kipsang, who passed on at the age of 33, managed to cross the finish line. You know, he was on the race, he managed to cross the finish line, but immediately after taking the prize, he collapsed and died. It's very unfortunate, and to see that he actually died in the line of duty just after finishing the cross line, he just collapsed, and that was his last. It's very unfortunate. Condolences to his family members and friends, and you know, the entire family, the entire country is actually in loss, because he is one of our own. Another story right here on the front page of the Star is fight of insiders versus outsiders goes to the wire. That is, lawyers will on Thursday elect new officials of the Law Society of Kenya and a representative of the Judicial Service Commission in a dogfight, pitting insiders against outsiders. That story is on page 9 of the Star. And if I may just look at the Standard right here, the top story is the Raila dilemma. This is what we have been talking about, you know. And still on the front page, we have United in Prayer. This is We know that there was the crusade happening over the weekend. That is the Benny Hinn crusade that was happening at the Nyayo National Stadium, and President William Ruto got to attend that particular prayer meeting yesterday. And he had quite a lot to say, you know, during that, and we've seen that on the news today. What else is on this front page? Patients in pain as county bosses fight over health. Governors skipped the launch of the stipend program for community health promoters in what observers say is the deepening of a rift between counties and the national government over health reforms plan. I think it is very unfortunate that we are gambling with health. You know, when we have wrangles when it comes to matters health, it shows that we are really not in a good place as a people of this nation. What do you think, Mike? I mean, you know, when you're having wrangles between, you know, the national government and the county on matters health.
The person who stands to suffer is the patient.
Yes.
Because in as far as the wrangles are concerned, as the wrangles go on, services at the hospital level, on any level, are kind of affected because we are talking that in terms of resources, madawa kupatikana kwa hospitali. As these wrangles go on, the patient is the one who suffers because services are not there. Treatment may be there, yes, but are there medicine? Also, the aspect of human resource. You see sometimes medics or persons working within the medical fraternity feel affected if their issues are not addressed well. So, as the government and the county and the county government, national government and the county government need to sit down and find a common ground.
Victor?
Yeah. There's a lot of heat because health is a devolved function to the counties, and you'd imagine governors have been rooting for that, you know, that function to be fully supported by the national government. And now it seems that there is no direct touch between the national government and the county government. And that's this is where the governor is saying that it's going to have that clawback to where people were initially before the devolution took effect. But the question is, even if it's devolved, there are certain counties which are not at par with others. Of course, all counties are not the same, but devolution is devolution. The question is what happens if it's now taken back to the national government that is now being run from the Ministry of Health? What will happen? Yes, much as people would say that devolution, you know, the governors have suffered their fair share of the administration, but we would really say that devolving health has been one of the best things that ever happened to common mwananchi. Vivian, what do you think?
True. Yeah. I think it has been the best thing because now we have, you know, hospitals in each county that, you know, you don't really need to be referred to K&H.
Yes.
When you have an emergency, there's the hospitals that are within your county that can also, you know, cater for whatever challenges that you are fighting. So I really hope that they will stop flexing muscles on each other and just look at the best way forward, you know, on this particular matter.
All right.
There's another story here that I think is important for us to highlight. Nature has solutions to our environmental challenges. Nature... now, as the world converges in Nairobi for the 6th UN Environment Assembly, there is pressing need to consider nature-based solutions in addressing the interconnected crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. You know, and deploying nature-based solutions is a collective effort, depending not only on the government but also on active and sustained engagements with various actors, including the national, regional, multilateral and international organizations, as well as the public and private sector and civil society. It is time for us to look at nature, to look into nature to try and solve some of the environmental challenges that we have or that we face. Else is there on the standard. I think most of the stories are just repetitive. They are stories we've touched on.
Yeah.
Right here, because we have the Azimio story, the succession story.
There are two stories that are highlighted on the front page of the Daily Nation. And one concerns students. Students burn the midnight oil to apply for courses. The e-citizen nightmare is forcing students to stay up past midnight to crack the Kenya universities and colleges central placement service, that is KUCCPS portal, and beat the deadline to apply for courses. Parents and students are appealing to authorities to simplify the procedure. KUCCPS has acknowledged the challenges and allowed an extension of the deadline for a third time. That story is fleshed out on page 2, and they are saying, actually, students are complaining that some are saying, I am very frustrated and have tried everything and I have turned my house into a cyber cafe. All my friends come here to try and apply for their courses. I think this is a system-related problem when it comes to e-citizen, and it's affecting students who are applying for courses on e-citizen. That is through the Kenya Universities Placement Service. That story is told in detail on page 2 of the Daily Nation. There's another story that actually has took the nation by surprise. It's concerning illicit brews. The story is going, deadly levels of ethanol in killer drinks. That story is told on page 8 of the Daily Nation. Unfortunately, these illicit products aren't checked by the Kenya by KEBS, and they are second-generation alcoholic drinks. I think sometimes last week you saw people in Kirinyaga who lost lives due to imbibing very weird, I would say weird drinks that are passed as alcohol. And there's a problem there that needs to be addressed. In as much as we are talking about these fatalities, there's a problem that needs to be addressed in as far as curbing these illicit brews is concerned. Because most of the time you find that the most affected persons who take these brews are found in rural areas. And, you know, in terms of, there's also an effort, there should be also a concerted effort by the government to enhance policing in as far as curbing this problem of illicit drinks is concerned. The story is saying, after an investigation exposed how unscrupulous liquor dealers in Mount Kenya region are manipulating the ethanol content in alcoholic drinks. The investigation has revealed that the ethanol content in the drinks was abnormally higher than what was stated in the labels. In addition, several of the beverages purchased had fake Kenya Revenue Authority stamps fixed to them. And it's a problem because not every Kenyan will differentiate between an authentic stamp of a KRA stamp or KEBS, and that makes it quite a little bit tricky. Plus also, I also think, Victor, the aspect of affordability of these illicit brews has contributed to these deaths, because people go in rural areas, people go for what is cheap so that they can have a good time without minding about the content.
The affordability.
Yes.
Some people say that they want something that has a quick kick.
Yes.
Quick kick means you take a glass and you're good to go.
Yes.
You know, there's some which are purely refined and they've gone through the quality assurance and checks with, you know, other different, you know, quality assurance bodies. But then this one, you have a quick kick and you're good to go. Some people say that you take a glass and make sure that in the next 10 minutes you're already home. That's what they say.
Yeah.
You take it here from Mama Pima,
yes,
and make sure that you count exactly 10 minutes. You're home. Either you are in bed or just around your compound, or you're already in your compound. Otherwise, you'll find yourself sleeping there for the next couple of hours, or probably spending the whole night there in the cold.
Yes.
But the whole story is here is the way the local brew is just widespread. I mean, in the villages. Perhaps somebody would say, because you correctly put it, it's cheap.
Yeah.
You know, you have 20 shillings and you're good to go. But for those people who are able to buy, you know, quite some good, you know, purified and well blended and brewed liquor or spiritual gin or wine,
yes,
you'll spend close to more than even 10, 20,000 shillings.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have such bottles that go even more than 50,000 shillings. So it depends to the quality of how this is made. But you have said the level of ethanol is here on the story here on the Daily Nation.
Yes.
That the first sample had 15% ethanol by volume. Compared to the level claim of 13%.
Yeah.
And the second had 15.68% of ethanol by volume compared to the label of 15%. So already so high. The percentage of ethanol by volume in the third sample was 15.68% compared to the label claim of 6%. So 15.6%. While there's another ethanol by volume of the fourth and fifth sample was 39.85% each, compared to the label claim of 40%. So basically people are consuming poison.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's as simple as such.
Yes.
People are consuming poison.
Yes.
Yes. The story of local brew dates back to the years of our great-great-great-great-grandfathers.
Yes.
But the way it's done is, you know, if you have this is pure poison.
Yes.
There's no question about it. This is pure poison. You tell me, if you have a granny, 78 years old, who is doing this and mixing ethanol with a drink, that granny, tell me, where did she learn chemistry?
And most of these people who take these illicit brews, sometimes they take it without having eaten anything.
Absolutely.
So when that...
On an empty belly.
Yes, on an empty belly. When that chemical goes to the stomach, what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen?
That is why we are losing lives.
That is why we are losing lives. I also think in terms of policy, we need more stringent policies where when such cases happen, the people who are responsible for selling these or manufacturing these illicit brews need to be taken care of in a matter that is more stringent, according to the law. Because we need to have prohibitive measures that will make people fear or do away completely with making these brews. And it's also one of the things that at the local level, the sub-chiefs and the chiefs, some of them have they do good work in as far as fighting these brews is concerned. But when it comes to now a level above the courts, now when it comes to courts, you see the sentences that are being handled maybe are not prohibitive enough, but and that is why some of them go out of jail, and once they are home, inaekelewa jikoni.
Yeah.
Unaona?
But I have a question for you, Vivian and Mike. When you have barrels and drums of ethanol, whenever police officers do a raid or conduct a raid at a home, they find, you know the blue drums?
Yes.
You'll find 10, 15 of them stashed or hidden somewhere. Where do these industrial ethanol come from? Where do they emanate from? And how did they find their way from that point of origin to a local village deep down in Kirinyaga or Muranga? Without anybody noticing from its point of origin, either from Nairobi, name it, that nobody ever noticed that there is something being transported from point A, destination is point B.
Yes.
Yeah, and those
what is
are
it going to be
many
used
liters.
for?
Yeah,
Yes.
liters upon liters. You know,
Yes.
it just shows that it's a whole line of people who are responsible for this, not just the ones who are actually making this alcoholic drink. You know, there's so many people who are involved, and they all should be brought to book if we really need to come to put an end to this, you know, to this menace of people dying because of consuming alcohol that wasn't, you know, properly made.
Yeah, we also need to be proactive enough in checking out these things, because most of the time, we see when such a tragedy happens, we resort to reactionary measures. You see, that is when we are discovering drums of ethanol. That is when we are discovering this has been brewed here for this amount of time. We react to a situation instead of being more proactive to prevent such cases. So I think there's a lot that needs to be done to address the issue of illicit brews.
Yes.
All right.
If I may get back to a story on the Star that we might have not touched on, that is on page 2 of the Star. Is Kenya a wash paradise? Now, lawyers jittery as Kenya is grey-listed in the report. The deal between the Law Society of Kenya and the Dirty Money Watchdog Financial Reporting Center has come under sharp focus as the reporting law takes effect in a few days. Now, law requiring advocates to snitch on clients dealing in dirty money takes effect early March amid flagging of the country as a wash hub. You know, Kenya being termed as a wash hub.
That is worrying.
That really does us wrong as a country.
It's a bad picture.
There's something former cabinet secretary, that is Fred Matiang'i, once said last election, and we all remember that. It was in the media that the current, back then, he referred to the next parliamentarians or the previous or, you know, future legislators will be a house of wash, money launderers, and what have you. That is the public domain. Actually, I can get you that story here. So it's not shocking that you have that is being talked about in the media.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. How about, before we wind up, how about to take a look at what's happening on the front page of our international papers. This is on the front page of the France 24. The front page says that Israel army proposes plan for, quote-unquote, evacuating civilians in Gaza Strip. Netanyahu says that rough operation will land Israel, quote-unquote, total victory over Hamas. That is what's here on the front page of France 24. Israel army proposes plan to evacuating civilians in Gaza Strip. Israel's military presented the war cabinet with a plan to evacuating the population from areas of fighting in the Gaza Strip. And with the upcoming operations plan, a statement in Hebrew from Netanyahu's office said that on Monday that the statement did not give any details about how or where the civilians would be moved. That is there. You can take a look at that. That's updated 2 minutes ago. Again, on the front page of the BBC, what do you have there? Let me just refresh that a bit in 1 second. There you have it. Again, it's acting on me. This is acting on me. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave that. Okay, how about we cross over and see what's happening on the front page? This is our channel. You can talk to us on our social media handles and tell us where we are watching us. Yes, real-time update. You can see that real-time update on our Twitter, on our X handle. And these are the 4 early risers. You know all of them. You know all of them. You know all of them. You can download the app, as always. Finally, you can download the KBC app and on Google Play and watch and read everything, listen, everything you want, real-time update on our radio services. All of them are here. Look at that. We are also Sweepia tuko hapa, Cindy, Vivian and Mike.
Sisi tuko hapo.
So yeah, so you download that app, you get everything on the go. Wadau, si tuchukue ka break kidogo.
Cindy hiyo.
Watu wa Chelsea, poleni. That's how it happened. Hiyo ni hali ya game. Tuchukue break, tutarudi. Mude, intuaje? Punde si